Okay, this is an electric dipole. So we are going to see the electrostatic potential due to a dipole. So before that, we have seen in the previous sessions, the previous classes, that the dipole moment is given by P is a vector quantity. So dipole moment vector is given by one of the charge into the distance between the charges. Okay, and the direction of the dipole moment, which I denoted with a P cap. So P cap is a unit vector. So P cap is nothing but the modulus of P cap is nothing but 1. The direction of the dipole moment is always from negative charge to the positive charge. So if you have a negative charge here and the positive charge here, and the distance between them is 2a, the dipole moment vector, which is the direction is given by p cap, will point from the negative charge to the positive charge. And always remember, a dipole is nothing but that with a pure dipole is nothing but an equal amount of positive charge and a negative charge separated by a fixed distance. Okay, so that's electric dipole, and the dipole moment is given by q into 2a. And that, as I have already stated, a dipole consists of two charges, a plus q and a minus q. So, and in this derivation, we are going to find the electric potential at the point P. Okay, so there are two charges. Separately, each charge will create a configuration, a potential. So let the potential due to the first charge be, let me call it as V1. So the potential due to the first charge is plus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So here look at the distance. So look at the distance at the point P, distance to the point P from the plus Q charge. It is at a distance of R1. Similarly, the minus Q charge is at a distance of R2 from the point P. Okay, so we can write easily. As we know the distance, we can easily write the potential. So by R1, and the potential due to the second charge, which is the minus charge, let it be V2, and it is given by minus Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R2. Okay, so when we have more than one charges, in order to find the total potential, we use the principle called superposition principle. Superposition principle. This superposition principle is applicable to electrostatic forces, electrostatic fields, and we are applying it to the potential also. So according to superposition principle, the total field, the total electrostatic field at the point P is equal to the summation of the sum of the fields of the potential due to individual charges at the point P. So V is nothing but V1 plus V2. Now we can substitute what is given in this two equations, equation 1 and 2. So it is given by plus Q by 4 pi epsilon naught minus it divided by R1 and minus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R2. So this minus come from the second equation. I'm not putting an extra minus here. It's just plus. It's an addition. Okay. So whatever common, we can take it outside. So Q by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So our challenge in this derivation is finding the distances R1 and R2. How to find them? Okay. So there is a small property of the triangle that usually derived using the vector algebra is usually derived. So this law called cosine law, we can easily use it. So now you consider a section of the triangle. So let's revisit the diagram once again. You have the positive charge plus Q here and minus Q here. The total distance between them is 2a. And this distance from the origin to the point plus Q, the distance is a. And from the origin, the point O, to the minus Q is a. So total it makes 2a. Now from the charge plus Q to the point B, the distance is R1. And from the minus Q to the point P, the distance is R2. Okay, now let us take one triangle. So let us take this particular triangle OP and this point plus Q. So we need to name that side. Let's call this as A. So let's take the triangle AOP. Let's draw it separately. Small triangle. So this distance is R1 and this is A, and let this distance be R. So let me write it as this distance is R and the angle between them is theta. So there is particular expression, the law, the cosine law that we can use to find the distance R1, which can be written as R1 square equal to R square plus A square. If we know the other two sides and the angle made by the other two sides with respect to each other, we can use this. Remember there is a minus 2AR cos theta. Okay, and theta is the angle between A and R. Repeat it. Okay, so R1 square equal to R square plus A square minus 2AR cos theta. Now you can take the other triangle, the lower triangle. So this triangle gives you this expression to find R1. What we are going to do is we find R1 and substitute in the expression for potential. That's it. And now you can take the second triangle. So before that, you need to find this angle, because in the using second triangle, we are going to find the expression for R2. So we will take this triangle, but we need to know this angle. So for a straight line, this particular straight line, we know that the total angle in a straight line is nothing but 180 degree. So this angle is nothing but 180 degree minus theta. So let's use that. So let's construct the second triangle. Let this point be B and let this point be O. And this distance R2, that's what we are going to find it. And this distance A and this distance as R. So what's the angle between them? It is nothing but 180 degree minus theta. Okay. Now we can do as earlier, so that will give us R2 square equal to R square plus A square minus 2AR cos of, now it is not theta, it is 180 minus theta. So you can check it. 180 minus theta is in the second quadrant. In the second quadrant, cos theta is negative. So what you get is R square plus A square plus 2AR cos theta. I will explain this again later. So R square plus A square equal to 2AR cos theta. Okay. Now let us proceed. We will take this particular expression for R1. Let me number it. This expression I will number it at 3, and this expression let me number it as 4, and this expression I will number it as 5. Let us take this separately and continue it. So R1 square equal to R square plus A square minus 2AR cos theta. You can cross check it. R1 square equal to R square plus A square minus 2AR cos theta. And the second expression, equation 5, R2 square equal to R square plus A square plus 2AR cos theta. So this is our equation number 4, we have rewritten again, and equation number 5, we have rewritten again. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to do an approximation. So what you can write R1 square equal to, you can take R square common. So what we get is, we get 1 plus A square by R square minus 2AR cos theta divided by R square. So when we take common, so we assume that there is an r square on the numerator, or we will get multiply and divided by r square and take one common. Let me do this. If you're not familiar with this kind of like mathematical uh, like manipulations, then we can do it. I'll explain it. Take the equation 4 again. R1 square equal to r square plus multiply and divide by r square. So r square a square by r square in the second expression. And in the third expression, r square into 2ar cos theta by r square. Now you can take r square from the numerator as common. So you'll get r square as 1 plus a square by r square minus 2ar cos theta divided by r square. Now we can happily cancel one r, another r. So we are left with the new formula r square equal to 1 plus a square by r square minus 2a cos theta by r.
Sir, why
Okay,
do we have to take r square common? Why can't we directly like substitute in the main formula?
because we are going to, that's a good question, because we are going to approximate it. This is this formula is valid for very small distances of the dipole when the point P is close to the dipole. But when you observe closely in the NCERT textbook or any derivations of the dipole, they will find the electric potential at a very, very far away point, because this expression is complicated. So we need to approximate using the binomial expansion. We will expand the binomial. Usually, the binomial expansion will get infinite terms. So we cannot handle infinite terms. So we need to make it finite. So when we make it finite, we will consider only the first two expressions. So your question will be clear in a moment.
Okay, sir.
Observe this. Observe in this formula. So this is our important formula, V equal to V1 plus V2. So Q by 4 pi epsilon naught, we are going to substitute 1 by R1 and 1 by R2. But we have R1 and R2 only in the numerator, like in this expression. So we need to take the inverse of it. Take the inverse of it and remove the square. In this process, we will get a square root on the right hand side. So handling the square root, when you try to expand it, you need to expand only using binomial expansion, binomial theorem. So you are left with an infinite number of terms. We will again do an approximation, and in that approximation we will neglect higher order terms and only keep first two terms. So let's do that. It will be clear why we have did like that. Okay. Now when we consider like points r, which is much greater than the length of the dipole, a square by r square terms here, the denominator of this term will get very large. So if you divide a small number with a very large number, what you get is close to 0.000. Yeah, that's right. So we can neglect this term. This term can be neglected. So neglect it. So finally, your expression will reduce to r square into 1 minus 2a cos theta divided by r. So that's our final expression for r1 square, but we are not done yet. So r1, we need r1 because our potential expression contains r1 and r2. We need r1. So r1 equal to the square root of r square into 1 minus 2a cos theta divided by r. So you have square here, you can take it outside. So let me continue here on the left hand side. So r1 equal to, you have r square here in the denominator, you can take 1r outside, and 1 minus 2a cos theta is still under the square root sign. Okay, so square root I can write it as 1 by 2. If it is a cube root, I can write it as that quantity. If cube root of a, I can write it as a power 1 by 3. So square root I can write it as power 1 by 2. This is similar to the binomial expansion that you might have learned in your lower classes. So 1 plus x the whole power some quantity 1 by 2. That is 1 plus x the whole power n. This is similar to it. But before doing the binomial expansion, let us expand this. Like take the inverse of it. Because here the denominator r1 is in the denominator. So we will divide it. So 1 divided by r1 equal to 1 divided by r into 1 minus 2a cos theta divided by r the whole power 1 by 2. So when you have 1 divided by 10 power 3, when you take it to the numerator, what do you get? You will get 10 power minus 3. So we are going to do the same thing here. Sorry. So 1 by r into 1 minus 2a cos theta divided by r the whole power minus 1 by 2. Okay, now we are almost there. So let us rewrite the final expression in the next page. 1 divided by r1 equal to 1 by r into 1 minus 2a cos theta divided by r the whole power minus 1 by 2. You can check it. 1 divided by r into 1 minus 2a cos theta by r the whole power minus 1 by 2. And it is in the numerator. Okay. As we have taken it in the numerator, we got minus 1 by 2. You can verify it. Similarly, when you do the same expansion for the other quantity called r2 square, you get the same thing in terms of plus. Here, as you have a plus here, you'll get the same expression with a positive sign. So I request you to do that on your own. In NCERT textbook, this is equation number 2.12. I request you to do this derivation of just after the class, right after the class, and arrive at the same similar formula for 1 by r2 and send it to me. So 1 by r2 is equal to 1 by r2 is equal to 1 by, we'll have 1 by r into 1 minus 1 plus 2a cos theta by r the whole power 1 by 2. We'll have a similar expression. Now, when you have some quantity called 1 minus x the whole power n, so we usually have 1 minus nx, and we have alternate plus n into n minus 1 x square by 2 factorial. It goes, but we are neglecting the higher terms. We will neglect it because that is very, very, very smaller. We are neglecting it because the distance is very, very larger. R is much, much, much greater than A. So we will consider only first few terms. So carefully noted, we have 1 by r outside and 1, the second term is, you have multiply n to it, multiply the whole power to it. Okay, so you will get 1 minus 2a cos theta into by r into a minus 1 by 2. Okay, so let me write it clearly below. There's no space here. Let us call this equation number 6 and equation number 7. So from equation number 6, we can write 1 by r1 equal to 1 by r into 1 minus 2a cos theta by r the whole power minus 1 by 2. We can write it as 1 by r into 1 minus nx. So 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 into minus 2a cos theta by r. Okay, so because we have 1 minus nx, already there is a minus, so it will become plus. Okay, if there is a minus n, it will become plus. Okay, so you can cancel this 2 here and 2 here. So you are left with 1 plus a cos theta divided by r into you have an r outside. Okay, so what you have 1 by r plus a cos theta by r square. A cos theta by r square. Similarly, the next expansion, equation number 7, when we do it, we have 1 by r2 equal to 1 by r 1 plus 2a cos theta divided by r the whole power minus 1 by 2. Okay, so we have 1 by r into 1 minus 1 by 2 into 2a cos theta by r. So we are cancelling this 2 in the denominator and the 2 in the numerator. This if we are not doing this approximation, this term might be an infinite series. As we have considered this approximation, we are considering the point P which is far away from the length of the dipole. The length of the dipole is very, very small, and we are considering a very, very far away point, maybe like 100 centimeter or 1 or 2 or 3 meters. The dipole length may be the size of a hydrogen atom, or very, very small, maybe micrometers, or like 1 millimeter. But the point P, when the point P is very, very far away, we can do this approximations. That's why we are neglecting this. We are considering only the first two terms, okay? The first two terms. So we will obtain similarly 1 by r equal to 1 minus a cos theta divided by r. So multiply this inside. So 1 by r minus a cos theta by r square. So we got the equation at 7 finally as these two terms. These two terms. Now come back to our potential. We have 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. So we will find 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. So finally, we are nearing the end of it. So 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. So this is our 1 by r1. So 1 by r, carefully, this is our 1 by r1 and this is our 1 by r2. We are finding 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. So 1 by r1, write it 1 by r plus a cos theta by r square minus 1 by r, multiply the minus inside. So we'll get a cos theta by r square. So you can cancel this 1 by r and this 1 by r. And finally, your expression is nothing but 2a cos theta by r square. Okay. So finally, we have 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2 equal to 2a cos theta by r square. So 2a cos theta divided by r square. So our potential is nothing but q by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. So we can substitute our term. You can call it as equation number 8. So you are left with 1 q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2a cos theta by r square. So we can group the terms q into 2a and do cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. We have already learned that the dipole moment equal to the magnitude of the dipole moment vector is nothing but q into 2a. The charge of the one of the charge and the distance between the charges. So we can write it as p cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So far in the subject, we have not seen any potential that depend upon angle. So here the potential due to a dipole is dependent on r and theta. Okay. So look at the figure. So when you change the angle, vary the angle. Then when you change this point, the angle also varies. The potential also varies. When you move along any distance, the potential also varies. Either you vary angle, the potential varies. Either you increase the distance or decrease the distance, the potential varies. So it is angular dependent. At each and every point, the potential is dependent on angle. But there is a particular symmetry associated with. You construct a cone and try to rotate this point P in the cone, fixing the angle theta. Fix the angle theta like this, you rotate this particular vector, R vector. Rotate it, you will get a cone. In that cone alone, you will get a circle. When you rotate it, you will get a circle inside a cone. In that particular circle alone, the potential is constant. So that particular circle, that particular cone that you consider will be an equipotential surface. Equipotential are special surfaces in the subject of electrostatics. We will learn about equipotential surfaces separately. And after learning equipotential surfaces, we can come to this particular example of dipole. Okay?
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, can you please go to the sir? In this, sir, so we get that 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2 is equal to 2a cos theta by r square, no, sir?
Exactly, right.
Then r square is like very large and a is equal.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Can you come again once again? R square is very large.
Sir, r square is very large.
Yeah, right.
And a is very small.
A is very small.
So why can't we approximate and say it's equal to 0?
We can't do that. Then what's the use of doing this derivation? We need some value. R square is so small. So let me consider a point. For example, this is actually used in several molecules. Maybe water molecule is a kind of a dipole because oxygen in water molecule is highly electronegative and the hydrogen atoms are less electronegative. So they have a positive charge. So the two hydrogen atoms in a water molecule will acquire a small positive charge and the oxygen atom will acquire a small negative charge. So that's a dipole. In that case, delta means is a Greek symbol that means a small. For small values, will we use the symbol delta. So this is a kind of a dipole. So the distance of what is a bond length? The bond length will be maybe 1 angstrom. 1 angstrom unit, which is 1 angstrom is nothing but 10 power minus 10 meters. But from the surface of a water molecule, like very close by distance, maybe some micrometers, 10 power 6 meters, we may experience the potential of this water molecule. So in that scenario, we need these collective, all the water molecules when they join together, we can experience some other phenomena. They will interact with whatever substance that we put in it. For example, you take the water molecule, you take water and put some salt in it. Salt will get dissolved. Why does it get dissolved? Because there is some energy. Because due to this dipolar nature of the water molecules, they will interact with the salt molecules and easily make them dissolve it. This is why salt dissolves faster. There is a small interaction between the sodium chloride ion and the water molecule. So these kind of interactions will affect each and every reactions. Very large in the sense we are not going kilometers and kilometers away from it. maybe this is very large. You can compare 1 angstrom is very far from like 10 power minus 6 meters. So micrometers and angstrom also is very far. In such scales, the interactions also there it has some effect. Don't see it as a single dipole. See, like take a cup of water. How many dipoles like this can you find? You can find many dipoles, millions and millions of water molecules. So each potentials will get added up. So when you put some substance like either sodium chloride or sugar, they will interact with it. Okay, many potentials that you learn in chemistry, van der Waals bonding, so many bonding like ionic bonding, covalent bonding, all are nothing but electrostatic force. It is electrostatic interaction or electromagnetic interaction that is playing there. Depending upon the kind of forces, will get divided. We will segregate into depending upon the behavior of the materials or the molecules, and depending upon where they interact with it, we will separate it. That's why you get hydrogen bonding, you will get like covalent bonding, ionic bonding, van der Waals bonding, so many kinds of bonding. All are basically nothing but the substance. All are basically nothing but the electrostatic interactions, and potential is very important in that scale. And that's a good doubt. Okay,
Okay.
did I clear your doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here the potential is dependent upon angle. So dipole moment is a vector quantity, but we have left the vector here. Let's bring back the vector. But remember, potential is a scalar. Potential is scalar. Is scalar. But on the right hand side, you don't have any vectors. See, you have a vector component. P is a vector. But if we left it alone, V may not be a scalar. So right hand side you have a vector, and left hand side you have a scalar. So that should not occur. So it's not happening like this. Let me make it clear. So V is a scalar. So right hand should also be a scalar. The total component should be a scalar. So it is P vector dot R cap. R cap is a unit vector. Where is that R cap? This is your R. This is your R cap. Okay, the direction. This is your total R vector. The direction is the unit vector belonging to R is the R cap. So R cap is nothing but R vector by the modulus of R vector. This is our R cap. So let's put it. So R cap, our R cap is nothing but R vector by modulus of R vector. Remember, all unit vectors in the subject of vector algebra will give you the direction. That's why the magnitude is 1. It will give you the direction. If you want to specify a direction, you put it. If you in the XYZ Cartesian coordinate system, if you want to show a direction along x-axis, you will put it as I cap. The magnitude of I cap is 1. If you want to show a direction along the z-axis, y-axis, you will keep j cap. So magnitude of j is 1. If you want to put a direction along the k cap, it is k cap. So magnitude of it is 1. It shows you, these are vectors which shows you directions. In the directions you can using the ij and k as basis, you can consider a coordinate system and draw anything. Okay, let's come to our point. Potential is a scalar. So when I write p vector dot r cap, we are getting a scalar quantity. So our potential expression becomes 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Now you can ask me, what about cos theta? So when you write like this, you need not write cos theta, because see, look at it. What is a vector dot b vector? A vector dot b vector is modulus of a modulus of b cos theta, and theta is angle between a vector and b vector. Okay. So p vector dot r cap is nothing but modulus of p vector modulus of r cap cos theta. But what is modulus of r cap? Modulus of p vector, I can write it as p itself. What is modulus of r cap? R cap is a unit vector. So modulus of r cap is 1. So nothing but 1 p into 1 into you have cos theta. So it's nothing but p cos theta. So that implies p vector dot r cap is nothing but p cos theta. So that's why I have written p vector dot r cap as p cos theta. So our final expression is p vector dot r cap by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Okay, now analyze this situation, analyze our problem. So what is this p vector? It's a dipole moment direction. What is r cap? It's a vector, unit vector along this pink color line, r cap direction. This is our r cap direction. Okay. Now let us calculate the point that potential at an equatorial point. Equatorial point means a plane perpendicular to it. That's an equatorial plane. A point along that particular plane is called equatorial point. And let's calculate the potential at this particular point and the bottom point. Let us redraw it. Let us redraw the dipole. Let our dipole be, let us consider a positive charge similar to this. So plus minus q, a, b, length 2a, and the point b. You have a here, you have b here. Let the distance between them be 2a, and let this point be the center of the dipole, or you can call it the origin. You can fix the origin there. Let this distance be a and this distance be a, and let us consider a point far away from it and draw a line to that point b. This is our r vector. Okay, and let this point be r1 vector and this point be r2 vector. So this angle is theta and this angle is 180 minus theta. Now we are going to consider few points. Let us consider a point here. This is our point P1, and let us consider a point here, point P2, and let us consider an equatorial plane. So let me draw a line. Okay. So equatorial line means take the dipole exactly to the center of it, draw a perpendicular line. So any point in this line. So this is our equatorial point. You call this as P3. So this is our equatorial point. Okay, now let us find the potential due to this dipole. So we have forgot to draw the charges. So plus q here and minus q here. Okay, and we have derived the formula. We have p vector dot r cap by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. Sorry, it's r square. For electric field, it is r cube. So here it is r square. So we can write p vector dot r cap as p cos theta, because r cap is unity, 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So we are measuring theta from plus q side. So when we consider the point P, this point P will be at this here. So theta will be 0 degree. So case 1. Okay, at point P1, theta will be 0. So the potential is nothing but P cos 0 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So we have cos 0 is 1. So we have P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And the case 2. That is at point P2, we have theta equal to 180 degree. Because we have taken this point P2, drag it like this, drag the point like this and keep at here. So theta has become, this theta value is increased and become 180 degree. So we have the potential as P cos theta cos 180 degree by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So cos 0 degree is 1. Cos 180 degree is minus 1. So we have our potential as minus P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And finally we have the case 3. So, okay, case 3 is our equatorial point. Okay, case 3 equatorial point, that is point P3. Okay, so at P3 it is perpendicular, so theta is 90 degree, theta equal to pi by 2 or 90 degree is equal to 90 degree. So we have cos 90 0, so potentially 0. So that's our end of discussion of electric potential due to a dipole. So this is our final expression. Our expression is P equal to P vector dot r cap by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. This is a very important formula, and this can be written as P cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And the potential due to a dipole varies like 1 by r square. This is entirely different from the potential due to single charges, which varies like 1 by r. An important point to note is it is angular dependent, not only position dependent. It depends upon position and the angle with respect to the theta angle, which varies from positive charge 0 at the positive charge and 180 degree at the negative charge. Okay, and it is at the point P1 and point P2 along the axis. The potential is plus P cos theta plus P by 4 pi epsilon r square, and at 180 degree minus P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And the equatorial point, any point along this axial line, the potential is 0. Any point anywhere here, the potential is 0. Along that orange color line, it is 0. That is any point along the equatorial plane, the potential is 0.